Welcome to what probably will be my most expensive video I've made yet. And that's because I'm giving you the power of telling me what to do with my money. I'm going to have you guys vote on 6 possible collections that I'm considering pursuing in the upcoming years. Vote down below which of these collections you think I should go after. Don't forget we got the 40,000 subscriber giveaway. If you want to win the first 9.8 of Miles Morales, Spider-Gwen, or Laura Kinney, you just got to be subscribed, like, and comment on every video. The first collection that I'm considering for the new year is a Knight's Quest and Knight's End, all in 9.8. If you guys know, I collected over a series of a couple years, and quite frankly, I don't think it would take me as long as it did, every single issue of Knightfall, classic 90s storyline. But Knightfall is part 1, Knight's Quest is part 2, and Knight's End is part 3. It's a 3-part story. I think since the most famous stuff was just part 1, that's all I collected. But there is this part 2 and part 3 that I never sought to collect in 9.8. And quite frankly, I see raws of that stuff all the time. I don't know if it would be that hard, but it would certainly take a lot of submissions to try to do it. I'm going to rate this on a difficulty at about a 9. It's not quite a 10, even though getting 9.8s of so many books is very difficult. By this point, I've really developed an eye, and it might be feasible. I will say, from a financial perspective, if I were to rate it, this is going to be up there at an 8. This is not going to be cheap. There's going to be a lot of books that fail that I'm going to have to be hunting for a while to get the 9.8. So let's see if I can get lucky. That was option 1. Here's option 2. Raw of every single known DC Universe logo variant. And what kind of sucks about this one is that I think I've probably had in my own hands probably 80% of them by this point. But I've had them in and I've sold them off at claim sales. Some of them, if they were nice enough, I was actually able to get 9.8s of. But frankly, I'm not interested in the gradeds. I'm interested in collecting every last one of the raws. And there's about 10 or 20 that are known to be extremely difficult that would make this very difficult. I actually am going to put the difficulty rating all the way to a 10 on this one. I think financially, it's quite high as well. And really, it boils down to those 10 to 20. There's some really tricky ones out there that everybody hunts that are really hard to find. So this one's up there in terms of really difficult. Just like entry number 1, though, and a lot of these entries, I'm a little surprised I never did this in the first place. That was the second. Here's the third. Every known quarter-scale Batman villain character, statue form. You might be thinking, James, you got out of statues. Yeah, I did get out of statues. You want to know why? Because I was impatient and they were just taking too damn long to make these Batman characters. Well, a funny thing happened since getting out. They've made all the characters, or will be making all the characters that I thought they were never going to do. There now is a Riddler. There is a Penguin. There's a Man-Bat in the works. I already have a unboxed, never opened Solomon Grundy just sitting over there in the corner of the room. I got a King Shark. This is one that kind of sucks because a lot of the ones I had, I sold off, but I still have a few of them. You see, I got Bane there. I know I got Joker over there. I have a jump start on this one, and I know the community, and I think this one could be done. The only problem is this is easily probably the most expensive one on the list. Dude, statues are no joke. When I was first getting into this hobby, statues were like $400 or $500. Still very expensive. Now you're at like $1,000 minimum each one, especially if you think about shipping. So it's gotten to be a very crazy expensive hobby. They're out there, and I know enough connections where I could find them. It just would be one of the most expensive ones on the list. In fact, this could be, all it takes is 20 characters or so. That's about 20 grand minimum. 20 grand, you can buy a car that's putting towards a down payment on a home. So that's a very serious financial goal. Speaking of statue collecting, fourth entry today is going to be a nod to Chris, the Batman statue collector, who I have been following for years. If you're not following him, do yourself a favor, check out his channel. Chris, the Batman statue collector, used to collect Batman statues. It's what got me into statues. But lately, he contacted David Finch and got commissions of every Batman villain as a headshot. Even though this is completely unoriginal, I was very inspired by this. I love the idea of it. And so I've got a list brewing of some major artists that I would want to contact for this. So the difficulty is probably at a 7. I just have to find one artist that would be willing to take this on. I would want it to be an artist that is established and known for drawing Batman. But it is tied for most expensive on the list. This also could very easily end up being 15, 20 grand, if not more. Commissioned art is no joke. And quite frankly, it's a world I don't know nearly as much as statues, and I could be way wrong. This could be like 50 grand or something. But I do think it would be pretty awesome, kind of like Chris has, to have a headshot of every villain all done by one artist. Yeah, that's just sounding cooler and cooler to me every second. The fifth possible thing I could do is every Batman villain in a 9.8 graded from CBCS. Why would I choose CBCS? I think they're the better grading company already, but I like CBCS because of my OCD. CBCS actually makes mention of small-time villains. So CBCS would probably mention the first Tally Man if I were to submit a book out to get graded. They would probably write the first appearance of the Flamingo. CGC has a real problem with the key comments in that they constantly forget, and I have to remind them, and they usually ignore me, to actually say what the first appearance on the slab is. They don't really care for minor appearances. CBCS does. Now, this is, believe it or not, probably not the most expensive one on the list. It will be if I start trying to get like Ra's al Ghul and the 70s ones, but I was thinking like 90s, 2000s, sort of attainable Batman villains for this one. Still very difficult getting 9.8s on everything. I've done this before. It's really hard. It takes probably a couple years, and it's going to be very expensive. We're putting the financial and the difficulty at a 9. The sixth thing I could do, and you can vote down below, is to commission a Captain Carrot custom statue. Believe it or not, that is something you can do, especially when you have the contacts in the statue world. You can ask, doesn't hurt to ask, a commissioner of an art project 3D renderer to contact a factory to get this done. Typically, you need at least 35 people that are also going to be wanting to be part of this pre-order. Custom statues also take 1, 2, 3, sometimes 4 or 5 years to actually get accomplished. And quite frankly, could I get 35 to 40 people on board with a commission for a Captain Carrot quarter scale statue that'll probably end up costing $1,500? Probably not. Custom statue world, you have to let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. This is one that I actually have the contacts for. So I'm going to put the difficulty at this one only to about a 7. But financially, me being the commissioner, backing this project, that would be extremely difficult. It might even be a full-blown 10 on this one. So you guys let me know, 1 through 6. 1, the Knight's Quest and Knight's End Batman Arc, all in 9.8 to accompany my Knightfall wall. Number 2, raw copies of every DC Universe logo variant. Yikes. Number 3, every known Batman quarter-scale statue villain. Number 4, some artist to commission a full roster of Batman villains as a headshot collection. Very expensive. 5, every Batman villain in a 9.8 collected with CBCS labels. And 6, the commissioning of a Captain Carrot custom statue. I'm going to give you 2 bonuses. This one I was considering before I did more research. Every single Scotty Young baby variant. If you don't know, Scotty Young kind of does a Calvin and Hobbes style in which he does a baby variant, often in a comedic context. And I originally was considering it, and it's impossible. We're going to put the difficulty to a frickin' 11, folks. This one's off the scale. I actually don't know if anyone out there has truly every baby variant from Scotty Young. The reason why I say this is this dude drops like 100 a year. There's also a bunch of ones where it's like, does it technically count as a baby variant? Yes and no. He's been extremely prolific. He's dropping them like it's hot. It's overwhelming. And the reason why I think it's impossible is there is no master list. I scraped the internet to see if I could find a listing of every single baby variant. The best I found was a 98% full list, but it stopped at 2015. So this guy's been doing this for almost 15 years. We're probably talking well over 1,000 pieces. It might just be impossible. So I removed it from this video. But I want you guys to vote on 1 through 6, because Lord knows I can't do it all. I'd have to be an actual millionaire to make that happen. Let me know. They're going to be very expensive. They're going to be very difficult, but I always like to challenge myself. Keep on hunting. This is the hunt that makes me fierce, man. I go nuts for this shit. So let me know what you want to see me do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 down below. And I'll see you at the next video. Make sure to come on down to Sentiment Depot's Antiques and Collectibles, located at 238 West Delaware Ave in Pennington, New Jersey. Find so many great books for just $1 and the lowest prices on key comics around. Enjoy a huge selection of graded comics priced up to 20% lower than current fair market value. We are open from Wednesday to Sunday, closed Monday, Tuesday. You got a collection you want to sell? Bring that too. Can't wait to see you there.